Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the gas station. It's your brother Kufu. Got news last night that the officer will be charged in the Rayshard Brooks case. So, man, let's look at the news, man. Early morning. Let's get it cracking. About this.
Atlanta police officer now facing charges for the shooting death of a man over the weekend. Those charges against Garrett Wolf include felony murder. He shot Rayshard Brooks in the back as Brooks was running from a DUI arrest over the weekend. A second officer is also facing assault charges and has been placed on administrative leave.
Rolf was fired after that incident. News for Jack's crime and safety expert Ken Jefferson is joining us now. And Ken, many people point to that first 30 or 40 minutes of that interaction with Brooks. It was polite, it was non-confrontational, then suddenly it was violent. Did you see any signs of this turning deadly until those final moments?
No, actually, I didn't. When I watched the incident unfold, I never thought that it would turn violent. But look at what we've seen within 5 days. This incident happened on Friday. We've seen the release of body cam video. We've seen a swift investigation done by the district attorney's office, and we've seen charges now levied against these two officers. So they're moving fast with this. They're not wasting any time. They're trying to get swift justice, if you will.
Ken, can you explain to us where did each officer make a mistake from what the prosecution describes?
Well, the DA in Atlanta laid out a very good case. I actually watched the entire press conference, and he laid everything out. He showed the reasons why he's charging these officers and what their actions were. He's basically saying, and he's telling us what the public didn't know. I didn't know this as well. He said that in the state of Georgia, particularly with the Atlanta Police Department, it's against their standard operating procedures or their SOPs for an officer to fire a taser on a fleeing suspect. Didn't know that. And so if you can't fire a taser, you can't fire a firearm. So that's the mistake based on Georgia rules and regulations that these officers made. This one particular officer made, which is a major mistake. So now he's being charged with felony murder.
Yeah, Ken, this district attorney that you're talking about revealed that Rolf apparently kicked Brooks, stood over Brooks, and said, "I got it." Is that acceptable behavior of any officer?
That's totally unacceptable. If in the lawful performance of your duties as a police officer, if you have the unfortunate task of having to use deadly force, and nobody wants to take someone's life, even in the lawful performance of their duty, even if they're defending themselves, it's inhumane for something like that to happen afterwards. If he took that life and him to actually stand over him and say, "I got him," and then kick him, and then allegedly the other officer came and stood on his shoulders without them rendering any type of first aid. It's just totally inhumane. At some point of time, the humane part of a police officer has to kick in, and this was totally inhumane.
What does it mean that the other officer at the scene is being described as a cooperating witness for the state?
Yeah, the state put out that he's cooperating. He's giving his testimony. It's not necessarily that he's speaking against the other officer. He's just telling the DA what actually happened from his standpoint. How allegedly he incurred a concussion during the incident. He was baffled. He really didn't know what was going on. And when you look at the video, he's actually flanking behind the officer that actually did the shooting. And he never unholstered his weapon. He hid behind a car when he heard the gunfires. And then after the gunfire was over with, he went over and stood over the body, just like the other officer did. And allegedly, he stood on his shoulders as well.
And we appreciate getting your insight. More than 20 years here in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Thanks for your...
All right, so yeah, there we have it. So they saying that you can't even shoot a fleeing suspect in the back with a taser, let alone your firearm. All right, so all right, man, more to come. But first thing first, let's see what's going on in these YouTube streets. Let's see what the word is in these YouTube streets. All right, we got a former officer. Let's see what he got to say now. You just heard what Brother Jefferson said. He said that you're not supposed to even shoot your taser while a suspect is fleeing. If somebody's fleeing and they're not a threat to the public, Yeah, you supposed to let them go. Even with the car chases, man, they even crack it down on that. You ain't supposed to chase nobody like that no more. It's too dangerous. And then with the heightened sensitivity about racial issues, it's like this cop wasn't watching, like he didn't watch the news. Like that should have been the last resort. And like I said the other day, did he do what he have to do? Was that necessary? All right, so boom, let's see what's going on in these YouTube streets.
In Atlanta, Georgia, the public officials, starting from the chief all the way through, should go to prison for what they have done to the city and what they have done to the police department. This is a shame. This is a real injustice. Like people were fighting for George Floyd, we should be fighting for these officers. How in the world do you get indicted or you get at least arrested for doing your job according to Georgia law? So I'm going to go through this whole thing because here we go again. Ignorant Negroes and other fools in our society are taking the side of another criminal that had no business doing what he was doing, a threat to the public, a person that did not spend his life doing the right thing against police officers, and now people are going to jail, people are riding it all over again. B. Tate, I'm finna set the record straight. We're going to start with Rayshard Brooks. Rayshard Brooks was a criminal. Rayshard Brooks was charged with false imprisonment, simple battery against the family, and cruelty to children. Now, the case report is not available to me, so I don't know exactly what he did, but I looked up Georgia law, and that means that he had physically committed violence against either his baby mama or his kids or both. And false imprisonment, meaning that they wanted to leave and he refused to allow them to leave. And I doubt it's just the children, because children don't have a vehicle to leave, or they don't have a availability to leave outside of an adult's control. This is what you're dealing with. He was sentenced to 7 years. He did 1 year in prison. He was on probation for the next 6 years. Violated his probation twice. He had a DUI before. So on this day that the incident occurred, Rayshard Brooks is passed out drunk in a motor vehicle, which is one of the most dangerous things you can do at almost any crime involving drugs or alcohol. I have physically seen the effects of drunk drivers completely destroying people's lives. I have had to pick them up off of the freeway, put them in body bags, looking at their family pictures, because dummies want to go out there and get plastered drunk and get behind the wheel. That is the first mistake. Then he goes, and instead of being a normal person, he fight the police officers. They could have shot him at the time he took the taser, but they didn't, because they was using restraint.
Whew, man. Yeah, so you gotta check out what's going on in these YouTube streets, man. This brother got a lot of followers, Officer Tatum. And, you know, he makes good points. But at the end of the day, man, hold on. At the end of the day, I always was taught, you don't shoot a man in the back. And even that's always been part of the law. Somebody can break in your house, but if they running away, you can't shoot them in the back. Man. He running away, he ain't a threat to you no more. So to me, it was uncalled for. You know, but everybody's picking sides and choosing sides. The best way to be is neutral, man, when it comes to these headlines that these occult put out. You know what I'm saying? It's been one racial headline after another since COVID-19. All right, Rayshard Brooks, do something right quick. Rayshard Brooks was 27 years old, got gunned down at a Wendy's, shot down at a Wendy's. Wendy's 27, in reverse is 72, 27. See, they use these numbers to encode the agenda. This is all occultic shit, ladies and gentlemen. The media is ran by the occult. If they didn't want you to see it, they wouldn't put it out. But they want you to see this because they got bigger agendas coming up. I mean, you know what? I went to the Black Lives Matter website, and because I've been peeping what's going on with the protests, and the protests is real. These protests is becoming more and more LGBTQIA, and even on their website it says that we're fighting for the LGBTQIA, with black immigration, racial injustice, police brutality, criminal justice reform. Then they got the LGBTQ and human rights, environmental injustice, access to health care, access to quality education, and voting rights and suppression. My main point is, with the riots, they gonna just try to blame black people. They ain't worried about all these other people. They just gonna blame black people. And that's the way they made it. Was all a plan, man. That's the way they made it look for a reason. Because something else is coming. Something way bigger than this is coming. And it's definitely gonna be here before November, because they building up for this big. I mean, it's gonna be a big election, y'all. Big election. Yeah. We are back in 1913, ladies and gentlemen. So peace to the family, man. Make sure you hit the like button for me. Leave your comments down below, man, what you think. I try to stay in the middle ground of all this, man. Stay neutral like the elites do. You know what I'm saying? Just stay neutral. Peace.